Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the KGX to the ZTV. Chelsea 2, Everton nil. Back on winning ways. Back with a good performance. Don't let anybody fool you. And yes, a much needed, and to be honest with you, a much deserved 3 points. Before we get into it, hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn those notifications on. And yes, back today at the bridge after what was pretty disastrous week, right? We threw away the game versus Atalanta, the boring 0-0 before that versus Bournemouth, and then the poor results before that, coming off of what was some pretty decent results, right? The 1-1 versus Arsenal, the 2-0 versus Burnley, the smoking of Barcelona, and things like that. But lineup came out today. A lot of folks were upset by it because there was Enzo starting still, who's looked leggy, and to be honest with you, has looked poor over the last month or so, barring those two big matches versus Arsenal and Barcelona. But no Esteval in there as well. But let's just go through the lineup real quick. Bob in goal. Right back was Gusto. Center backs were Trev and Fofana. Left back was Cucurella. The midfield of Enzo and Reece James and sort of the double pivot with Palmer in the 10, Neto right, João Pedro up top, and Garnacho on the left. So yeah, big calls, right? Oh, a lot of folks wanted Esteval to start because he didn't start and play at all versus Atalanta. But it was Neto that got the nod. Neto, another good performance. It's been our best winger all season. Yes, he's frustrating at times, head down at times, but from this one, it was a slow start, a little bit of a sluggish start. KDH went down early with an injury, maybe changed things up a little bit for the Everton and Moises dynamic in the midfield and things like that. But yeah, it was a little bit of a slow start, but we were controlling the possession, dominating the tempo, or controlling the tempo, dominating the possession, so to say. And it was a little bit of a labored build-up, but not too bad. Not too bad. Like I said, we were creating chances, and we had some opportunities early. Again, final third actions, just not making the right decisions. But this time, it was Gusto who was technically on right back on paper, right back defensively, but in attack, it was sort of him and Reece James as the 8 with Enzo pushed up top to the right half space. I'm sorry, to the left half space with Cole Palmer in the right half space, Neto on the right. So we were pushing numbers ahead. Everton was sitting back, absorbing the pressure, trying to hit us a little bit on the break. And we finally we get the breakthrough. Gusto with a very nice slipped in pass to Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer takes a touch, opens up his body. Looks like he's going to go to the far post, but ends up smashing it near post. Beats Pickford. It's 1-0. And we're like, all right, early goal, nice. We needed that. It's been a minute since we've seen the ball go into the back of the net at home, in the league, and we're on the front foot. We're moving. We get a second one. Malo Gusto didn't score for his first 98 matches, but then all of a sudden gets 2 goals in 5 matches, which is crazy. But we get a little bit of a transition, right? We catch them on a break. They push numbers forward, and it's Neto one step over down the byline, cuts it back. Gusto and Enzo are on their bike. Gusto gets his toe poke to it. Jordan Pickford can't get down to the near post. 2-0, and it should be done and dusted there because we get a absolutely gifted opportunity which had fallen to Garnacho. The poor back pass by, I think it was Garner. Garnacho does everything well, right? He sees it, he pounces on it, he rounds the keeper, has an empty net to shoot at, and he puts it wide. And that, to be honest with you, that summed up Garnacho's game today because he had a hat trick of misses. He had 3 opportunities that he should have at least walked away with a brace. But we know what Garnacho's on. Can't dribble, can't beat a man 1v1. decent at getting on the end of opportunities, decent engine, good at sort of playing off that last shoulder and just making those runs in behind. But my God, he was awful today. Just absolutely awful. And he was probably the worst one. Enzo's first half, not very good. Second half, he picked it up, was excuse me, was a little bit better, but wasn't wasn't to the levels that we've seen him play um, in some of the big games this season. Reece James, fantastic in midfield. Again, putting out fires, controlling the tempo. Nearly had a nice free kick that Pickford saved over. Um, who else? Fafana, fantastic today. Trev, solid today. Sanchez didn't have much to do today. Had one save where I think it was off a header. Um, it was off a header from either Grealish or Alcatraz or whatever his name is, where it's going over and Sanchez, his hand is above the post and he still knocks it over for a corner. But other than that, like I said, didn't have too much to do. Everton created some chances. Ndai hit the post late where Sanchez was sort of rooted to the spot. There was a chance that fell for Grealish where he was on the stretch that was going to be a difficult chance. They had a couple of chances, but really for us it was just about us taking our opportunities, which we did early. But again, wasteful in front of the net. João Pedro had a couple opportunities where one he smashed it across the box and Gittins didn't gamble on it. Gittins had another one where he beat two guys and just dragged it near post. Enzo had an opportunity that off of a corner where he actually fouled and took it away from João Pedro and missed it. So he had a header in the first half too. So there was plenty of opportunities, plenty of big chances created, but not clinical. But on the bright side of things, another clean sheet. I think that's second most clean sheets in the league. No, maybe tied joint for first since Arsenal. By the time we're recording this, Arsenal had just scammed a 2-1 versus Wolves. Um, so yeah, to joint most clean sheets. I think that's like 4 clean sheets out of the last 6 in the league or something like that. Um, Nice little partnership developing between Trev and Wes. Hopefully we can keep Wes fit. Nice to see Cole Palmer back on the score sheet. Got him about 50 minutes today before he was taken off. Probably won't play midweek versus Cardiff. Oh, Neto with another more GNA this year. I think he's got 8 in the league so far, so I think he's already matched his total from last year. João Pedro did a pretty decent job holding up. I thought he was unfortunate today with some of the calls. I thought Tarkowski was a little bit too over aggressive with him physically, and he wasn't getting the calls. But there were some opportunities where João Pedro was doing the similar type of actions on Tarkowski, and Tarkowski was getting the calls for some crazy reason. But Kukurea solid at left back. Santos came on, was fairly solid, unremarkable performance. Esteval came on late, didn't really have too many minutes to really do anything. Had a couple opportunities where I think he just took an extra dribble and things didn't cut out. But just a good performance today. Man of the match, definitely Gusto with the goal and assist. Um, but yeah, we go midweek Cardiff, then a big one away to Newcastle, and then things slowed down I think a little bit, and I think we've got a week before I think it's Villa. So there's some big matches coming up. Some teams that are going to be in and around us or are currently above us in the table. In the case of Villa, who still have to play tomorrow, could have had a chance to go top if the Arsenal result would have ended in a draw, which it should have. 2 own goals for them. But yeah, let me know in the comments who your man of the match was. Let me know what you thought of the lineup. Um, Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and we will see you at the next one. Peace.